In Elk Island Public Schools, we believe that all children can learn and be successful. We believe that quality instruction is the right of all children and strive to support teachers in providing the best possible learning environments for their students. Alberta Education's Setting the Direction stated, "At the core of inclusion is the concept of making differences ordinary so that all students have a place, feel valued and welcomed, and are equipped for success." In our school district, we offer a range of learning environments for students with significant disabilities. Students may be supported in a regular classroom setting in their community school or in a specialized system program. In this video, teachers in both environments demonstrate how they provide differentiated instruction for their students with significant disabilities.
For me, the most important thing in my classroom is every child can learn, and that is such an important point for people to understand. No matter what the disability is, every child can learn. And in my room, for me, it's the communication aspect and using their devices combined with literacy to support their learning in every aspect that I can possibly can. It could take them an entire year to learn some of the letters of the alphabet, but that doesn't mean you give up. You persevere. You have to keep going with our kids. I love in the fact that research is showing that our kids are actually not making full connections until they're about junior high or high school age. But it all starts at the elementary level, just like it does in regular programming. We have to build on it and we have to keep going with it because they're going to learn something. And it might surprise you just what they pick up on. The 4 blocks of literacy is really what I'm pushing for in my classroom. I take bits and pieces from that and I work with it within the classroom. So we have our reading, guided reading, we have our independent reading, we have self-selected reading, we have our writing, we have working with words. Our students do that on a daily basis. For me, my mantra is persevere, persevere. Sometimes they're going to show you something that they know that you didn't expect them to know. And a lot of times, it's with the literacy. As for a life skill, I believe there's a quote out there that says, literacy is a life skill. And that is the best thing we can give our children, to make them aware of their environment, to interpret their environment, and what to do with that environment. And that environment is school, home, community. We need to give them as much as we possibly can. So to sit there and expect a child's IPP to cover zipping up a coat for 3 years, to me, is a loss of learning time. We need to show these kids how to make words, how to read, how to interpret their environment. Zipping up a coat is important, but it's not as important as the literacy. That's a life skill. That's survival. In our classroom, with the complex communication needs that my students have, I fully believe in visuals. We have visual schedules for locker routines. We have visual schedules for the daily routine. We've broken it down into morning and afternoon. The EAs have smaller versions of the pics that they can carry with them to work with students to help with following along and following directions. I'm the one that gives them the expectations, the objective of each lesson, what I'm looking for. It does require a lot of communication, a lot of talking, and sometimes it can get tiring, but in order for all of us to be on the same page, you need to be able to direct and communicate openly with your assistants that are in the room. Technology, I have to say, the changes that have come along with the iPads has really enhanced and supported learning in our classroom. Our students are doing things that, to be honest, I didn't know that some of them could do. So technology, it catches their attention and they're engaged in it. So I like to use a lot of technology, but at the same time, I still use some of the old traditional ways because I need them to have a mix. There's a lot of books around our room. There's every opportunity to work with letters, sound, symbols, visuals are brought in. Whether it's high tech or low tech, every child needs an opportunity to have a voice, and we need to find a way to give them that voice. And if you can bring it into as many things as possible in that classroom, an extension of their body, that's what you need to do. And yes, it does take some work to do it, but the payoff at the end for that child is immeasurable. Monitoring their progress is a daily observation in our classroom. I use checklists. I'm very fond of some of the checklists that Karen Erickson used and the Carolyn Musselwhite checklists that are available out there for literacy. But for the most part, it's observable in the classroom, and I keep examples of their work and I compare. And then I move forward if I have to, or I differentiate to whatever level that needs to be addressed at that time. I want people to see that my students ask for things such as what happens next in the day. That's an inquiry. That's a life skill. Hey, I wonder what happens next, Mrs. Parada. I want people to see my students explain themselves. They're using descriptor words. It's not just a want, need, and unfortunately a lot of people perceive it as, well, do you need a drink? Are you hungry? Do you need to go to the toilet? We are way more than those three things. I'm trying to develop my students into being people with a voice. Writing has always been a challenge with our kids because a lot of them have motor planning issues, but I've also learned over the years that you need to jump to the meat. What is your objective that you're getting to? With a lot of our kids, even neurotypical children, if they're having problems writing, the catchphrase lately is alternative pencil, and I am a huge believer in it. I've seen it in progress in my classroom, and I've seen some of the results already in a short period of time. And if we can get them writing with a means of a keyboard or electronically, I think we need to take advantage of that because they deserve that. There's a lot more in our kids than what some of us give credit for. It's in there, we just have to find a way to get it out. Way to go spelling your name. You can get yourself a sticker and you can go play.